Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. For our show today, Gabe will be sharing with us why playing the long game is the fastest way to win at content marketing. Again, thank you, everybody, for always tuning in and enjoy the show. Good morning, everybody.
There was always a ton to learn. All this week, we've been talking about content marketing and why it is so important to have a consistent content marketing plan in your business. And today we're going to be talking about why playing the long game is really the fastest way to win. And I've observed this multiple times over the years where I've seen people find out about some social media channel that they're excited about, a brand new one. Maybe it's new or it's new to them. Hear about this new strategy or this new approach, and they completely focus on one thing while actually losing their focus on what they've been doing, maybe for a short time or maybe a long time. And when I see somebody chasing trends, I find that it's generally really difficult, time consuming, and it rarely leads to success when you're just chasing the next big thing. There are times where I see people do that and they get some great results. But generally speaking, it's only folks who have really established teams and they have an actual process of how to chase a trend or leverage something that's working. And they're not just jumping into it, learning it the first time. They bring in the right experts. They have a strategy. They've used something that they use on multiple channels over time, and it does get results. But that's actually an example of them playing the long game because they're not expecting just a single channel to lead to long-term, results on its own. Focusing on the relationships you build and the presence in your marketplace is really what drives long-term results. And I shared this recently last week or maybe the week before on the show, where I was having a conversation with a prospect who was actually a client of ours 6 or 7 years ago, quite a while ago. We were a much different company. We were a smaller team. We didn't even offer all the things we offer now. And I had reached out and said, hey, just reaching out. I know it's been a few years since we worked together, but here's what we offer now. And if you need anything, just let me know. And when they reached out and booked the call, we were having a conversation on the discovery call. And this client said, you know what, I'm ready to sign up right now. I don't need to look at anything. I'm happy to pay you up front for this first phase. And they said, this is because you email us so consistently. I see your social media on LinkedIn. I know who you are. I've been following you for years. And in that moment, I compressed time significantly, and I didn't have to have a second or third call, didn't have to go through the whole process of establishing more trust because I already had that trust established. And so by being consistent and getting in front of, tens of thousands of people every month with the content that we put out on a daily basis, it made it so I can invest time in batch creating content like we talked about on the show this week. I have processes in place. I just consistently show up, and it doesn't take more than a couple hours a week for my input to put all the content out that we do. And what happened then is that saved me hours in that relationship, and we were able to move much quicker in serving that client. And so when we focus on that incremental day by day, showing up, being consistent, serving our audience with valuable content, giving them information that they need, letting them know how they can reach us when they're ready to work with us, that incremental build is what builds an unstoppable giant snowball that ultimately has its own momentum as you continue to drive it. And what's interesting to me is there's a concept that Jim Collins talked about in Good to Great, which there's some great parts of that book, and there's some other parts that I don't necessarily follow. But one of the parts that I do really like that he talks about is he talks about how in business there's a big flywheel. So a big flywheel takes a long time to start turning, but once it starts turning, it gets its own momentum and everything starts to operate a lot easier. And when you think about your social media, your content marketing, when you show up that way on a consistent basis, you probably won't be able to tell in the day-to-day that one post or that one idea or that one email you sent out that actually got the momentum and got things moving. But it's happening all the time for individual prospects in your audience. And ultimately, if you're consistent over time, you'll get to the point where the massive content that you have out there, people knowing who you are, them trusting you, them referring other folks to you, it's going to create this momentum. And ultimately that flywheel is going to start to spin and spin and spin on its own because you've put in the consistent time and effort. A friend of mine, Ray Higdon, has been doing daily video content for over 10 years. And when he started out, I don't think anybody really watched, maybe a couple people here and there, but ultimately him doing daily content and showing up consistently and teaching and serving his audience has led him to build a multi-million-dollar business. And it was all built on the foundation of him showing up every day, playing the long game and saying, I'm going to show up until I find the success I want, until I really see that people are served well, until my brand reaches the mass and the velocity that I want it to reach. And with that type of consistency, with that persistence, with that focus on the long term of not, I'm going to release something today, a video, a post, and expect thousands of people to see it, but instead saying, I'm going to release a video today because that's what I've committed to do. And if 1 or 2 people see it, that's enough for today. If you shift your focus and play the long game and think long term, and you're just all about how do I take these little steps every day that add up to the grand success in the long run, that's what's going to make your content marketing effective. It's also going to help you stay in the game from a mindset perspective. It's going to keep your heart in it. It's going to remind you, like we talked about yesterday, that you can just envision in your mind speaking to one of your best clients or a prospect that you want to serve. If you think about that one person and how you can serve them at the highest level today, people can hear that. They can understand that. They know that you're truly showing up from a place of service. And I have never, ever, ever seen that fail. I've only seen it grow amazing businesses, build long-term relationships with clients and partners and vendors that, I absolutely love working with. I've only seen it bring positive into my life. And I've also seen crazy things happen. Like I'll get a referral and somebody said, oh, so-and-so referred you. And I have no clue who they're talking about. I look in my database, I look through my connections and I can't find that person, but that person has apparently been watching me for so long that they go, I know who you can work with, go here. So you can drive referrals from people you don't even know when you have that commitment to show up on a daily basis, to serve your audience at the highest level and play the long game as you show up and find ways to serve the audience through the content you put out there. So I hope that inspires you today to shift your mindset from what result can I get today from what I put in today to what result am I building towards in the long run by showing up on a consistent basis and really showing my audience that I'm here for them. I'm going to serve them. I'm going to care for them no matter where they're at in their season. And when they're ready, I'll be here to help them. So that's the mindset I encourage you to take. I'm positive that if you take that long-term view, then that is going to be the fastest way to grow your business. And it will help you stay focused on what's working, what's mattered. And it will keep you from getting distracted with shiny objects. And it will keep you from getting off course. So thanks so much for taking time to tune in today. If you didn't see the rest of the episodes from this week, you can go back and check those out on our YouTube channel or in our Facebook feed or anywhere that you're following us. You can kind of see the whole theme of what we talked about for the week. I really appreciate you taking time today. And we look forward to seeing you next week.